The coin you have is a 1969 D. Roosevelt dime, minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark on the obverse, to the right of the date. This coin belongs to the Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946 and continues to be minted today. It features a portrait of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, serving from 1933 until his death in 1945. Roosevelt was the only U.S. president elected to 4 terms, and he led the nation through both the Great Depression and World War II. Following his death, Congress swiftly authorized a new dime design in his honor, partly due to his immense popularity and partly because of his connection to March of Dimes charity, which fought against polio, a disease Roosevelt himself battled for much of his life. Obverse front design. The obverse of the coin, designed by John R. Cynic, chief engraver of the U.S. Mint from 1925 to 1947, depicts a left-facing bust of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Around the upper rim is the word liberty, symbolizing one of the nation's core principles. In the left field, running horizontally in smaller letters, is the American motto, "I in God we trust." The date 1969 appears along the lower right edge, just above the Denver Mint mark D. Beneath Roosevelt's neck, in very small script, is Cynic's initial JS, although on your coin appears faint from circulation wear. This particular 1969, the example shows heavy wear, which is typical for a coin that has been in circulation for over half a century. The hair details and facial contours are significantly smoothed, and high points, such as Roosevelt's ear and cheekbone, are flattened, classic signs of long-term use in commerce. Reverse back design. The reverse design is equally symbolic. At its center is a torch, representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left, symbolizing peace, and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing strength and independence. This trio forms a visual motto of American ideals: liberty, peace, and strength. Encircling the top of the coin is the legend United States of America, while at the bottom is the denomination 1 dime. Across the lower field, between the branches and the base of the torch, runs the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, a reference to the unity of the states. This reverse was also created by John R. Cynic, and it has remained unchanged throughout the entire Roosevelt dime series, with only small minting adjustments over the decades. On your coin, the reverse is a notable amount of wear. The torch lines are faint, and the finer leaf veins on both branches have merged into the background. Metal composition and minting. The 1969 D-dime is part of the clad coinage era that began in 1965. Prior to that year, U.S. dimes were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. Due to rising silver prices in the early 1960s, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-nickel clad composition, which consists of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change reserved the dime size and weight, 2.27 grams, but removed intrinsic silver value. The Denver Mint produced 563,323,870 Roosevelt dimes in 1969, making this a high mintage year. Because of the large supply, circulated examples like yours generally hold only face value unless they are in exceptionally high-grade mint state condition or display an error. Historical context of 1969. The year 1969 was one of great significance in American and world history. The United States was in the midst of the Vietnam War. The Apollo 11 mission successfully landed humans on the moon in July, and American culture was undergoing rapid transformation. In the coinage world, the U.S. Mint was still refining the relatively new clad planchets introduced in 1965, which sometimes led to weak strikes or quality control issues. Denver minted coins of the late 1960s are generally known for good quality, though minor die was common due to heavy production demands. Collectability and value. For the 1969 D. Roosevelt dime, value depends almost entirely on condition. Circulated examples like yours, especially with the amount of wear visible, trade for face value 10 cents. In everyday commerce, mint state examples uncirculated can be worth about $1 to $3. High-grade certified coins in MS-67 or higher can reach $100 or more, but such grades are rare. Errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or missing clad layers, can command much higher premiums, but none are evident on your coin from provided images. Given extensive wear, your dime likely served decades of active circulation, passing through countless hands, from the late 1960s when it was fresh from the mint, through the inflation-heavy 1970s, the booming 1980s, and beyond into modern digital payment times. Numismatic significance. While common, this coin is a tangible link to a specific chapter of U.S. history. The Roosevelt dime series itself holds special numismatic interest as one of the longest-running unchanged designs in American coinage. Its debut in 1946 bridged the gap between wartime sacrifice and post-war optimism, and its continued production symbolizes stability in the nation's coinage. The 1969. The issue sits comfortably within the heart of the series, past the silver era but before later design tweaks and minting technology advancements. Next top. The 1980 United States 1 dime is a small yet historically rich coin that is part of the ongoing Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946 following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who served from 1933 until his death in April 1945, and was a central figure during both the Great Depression and World War II. The decision to place Roosevelt's portrait on the dime was a symbolic tribute to his leadership, and also to his long association with the March of Dimes campaign to combat polio, a disease that he himself battled for much of his life. By 1980, the Roosevelt dime had been in continuous production for 34 years, having undergone certain metallurgical and minting changes along the way. Early Roosevelt dimes, 1946 to 1964, were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, but due to rising silver prices in the Coinage Act of 1965, all dimes struck from mid-1965 onward were changed to a clad composition consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its familiar silvery appearance, while being mostly copper in weight. The 1980 dime follows this copper-nickel clad standard and has a mass of 2.27 grams, a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a reeded edge with 118 reeds. The fine grooved edge originally intended in earlier centuries to prevent the illegal shaving of precious metal from coins. The obverse of the 1980 dime features the left-facing bust of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time of the coin's original creation. Sinek's initial JS can be seen at the base of Roosevelt's neck. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions Liberty, to the left, the national motto, In God We Trust, at the lower left, and the date 1980 to the lower right, along with the mint mark just above the date. In 1980, dimes were produced at 3 U.S. Mint facilities. Philadelphia, no mint mark in 1980. Since the P. Mint mark on dimes did not appear until 1980 for proof issues, and later for circulation coins in 1980's Philadelphia coins actually had no mint mark for business strikes. Denver, D. And San Francisco, S. For proof coins. The reverse of the 1980 dime retained Sinek's original reverse design, a central torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left representing peace, and an oak branch on the right symbolizing strength and independence. Around the periphery are the inscriptions United States of America at the top and 1 dime at the bottom, with the motto Et pluribus unum, out of many one, positioned horizontally across the center between the torch and branches. 1980 was a year of considerable mintage. Over 735 million were struck in Philadelphia, over 746 million in Denver, and over 3.5 million proof dimes in San Francisco, ensuring the coin's widespread availability in circulation. Economically and historically, the 1980 dime exists in an era marked by high inflation, rising interest rates, and significant political change as the United States transitioned from the Carter presidency to the Reagan era. While the dime's face value remained 10 cents, its purchasing power in 1980 was roughly equivalent to about 35 to 40 cents in today's money, illustrating how the economy had shifted since Roosevelt's time. Numismatically, circulated 1980 dimes hold only face value, unless in exceptional condition, but high-grade uncirculated examples, particularly those graded MS 67 or above by services like PGS or NGC, can command premium prices from collectors. Proof examples from San Francisco are sought for their mirrored fields and frosted devices, often appealing to type collectors and Roosevelt dime series specialists. The 1980 dime's continued use of the Roosevelt portrait also reflects the enduring legacy of mid-20th century American coin design, which has proven remarkably resistant to change compared to other denominations that have undergone redesigns. The copper-nickel-clad construction also makes the coin durable in circulation, with many 1980 dimes still readily found in pocket change today, albeit with wear and surface scratches. In the broader numismatic context, the 1980 dime is part of a modern clad era that, while often overlooked by casual observers, forms an important chapter in U.S. coinage history, bridging the silver era of the early Roosevelt dimes with the ever-advancing minting technology of the late 20th and 21st centuries, including improved die-making techniques, automated coin presses, and tighter quality controls. For collectors, a complete Roosevelt dime set that includes all year's mint marks and proof issues from 1946 to the present is a rewarding pursuit, and the 1980 issue serves as a representative of the high-production, modern circulation phase of the series. In summary, the 1980 U.S. Roosevelt dime is a small but historically, politically, and numismatically significant coin, a product of post-silver coinage policy, a continuing tribute to an influential president, and a survivor of over 4 decades